Welcome back to another episode of Say What Needs to Be Said. I'm your host, Asante, Mr. Pick Six Samuel. Yeah, that's me. You know what it is. Two-time Super Bowl champion. Two-time Super Bowl champion, Pro Bowler, All-Pro. What else? What else? What else? 50 interceptions in 10 years, two-time interception leader. What else? Record-breaking cornerback. Yeah, that's me, man. Welcome back to the show. Clap it up, clap it up. Friday night vibes, baby. We here to turn up, have a good time, and it's trying to push out some of that energy, baby. You know what I mean. And one thing I love to do is perfect my craft. You know, you can't get too high, you can't get too low. Always stay right there in the middle, you understand? And keep getting better. Keep chopping at the wood, you know what I mean? Last time, man, my energy wasn't all the way there. I wasn't perfecting my craft, but tonight I'm back. Man, you understand what I'm saying? James in the house, man. Y'all let me know where y'all tuning in from, where y'all coming in from in the chat. Y'all talk to me, I talk back. Y'all know how this go, man. It's Big Deuce in the house. Big Deuce in the house, man. And if y'all like a good Twitter fight, man, let me tell you, y'all better know if y'all ain't following me on Twitter. Y'all better go follow me on Twitter if you like a good Twitter fight, boy. I'm on AB Head on Twitter, boy. Yeah, I let AB have it, boy. He can't deal with this pressure. He can't deal with the pressure of Mr. Pick Six. ATL, G Money, what it do? ATL in the building. Marlon, I see you. Marlon always showing love, man. Marlon, man, he probably gonna end up being the moderator for the channel, man. He seemed like a good dude. I don't know if he a mind or not, man, but salute to Marlon, man. Always supporting, always showing up, sticking up, and all those good things, man. That's what we need to say what needs to be said, because we like to tell the truth and speak the truth over here and say what needs to be said, because that's what it's about. Speaking the truth and not getting caught up in all the media hype and following and things like that, because there's always some truth in someone's opinion. You understand what I'm saying? But go make sure y'all follow me on Twitter. If y'all like a good Twitter fight, all I do is fight and talk shit and, you know, and I tell facts. You understand what I'm saying? But AB, I'm on AB Head, man. But, you know, we're going to get to AB and we're going to get to the chat. And we're going to talk about the chat. We're going to talk about the questions y'all have in the chat. But first, man, y'all heard about Steve Smith Sr.? What is happening with Steve Smith Sr., man? Steve Smith Sr. out here getting caught up, man. I think he's been married since 2000, if I'm correct, to his college sweetheart, commentator for the NFL, you know, a good dude. I know him, you know, played against him, you know, future Hall of Fame, all that good stuff. But, man, he is one of the hot topics tonight, man. He is in the media for all the wrong things. And a man's family doesn't want to see something like this when things pop up in the media. NFL star Steve Smith Sr. sued for alleged affair with the man's wife under bizarre law that exists in only 6 states. Only 6 states. Goddamn, how unfortunate is that? How unfortunate is that? Right? A man by the name of Antonio Martinez wants to hold Steve Smith Sr. accountable for messing up his marriage. Man, let me tell y'all, if y'all don't understand the law, wherever you're going, if you're traveling, make sure you do, because it is very important. Even where you stand now, if you move to another state, understanding the law in your state is imperative, unless you are willing to deal with the mistakes or the consequences you may have from causing some mistakes. You understand what I'm saying? So if you don't understand the law, where you're living at, you're going to have to deal with the consequences by making some mistakes that you had no clue about is the law. So that's why it's important to understand the law in every state you're at. The laws change in every state, every county, not every state and every county, every state, every country, and things like that, man. And I bet not many people understood it's a law in some states that permits you to be sued for having an affair or breaking up a marriage. Yeah, in some states, man, you can definitely be sued. If y'all ain't heard, it's 6 of them. You could be sued for messing up somebody's marriage, having an affair, and just causing irreparable harm to someone's family and marriage, man. That's deep. And I didn't learn about this law until I signed with the Eagles, man, back in like 2007. Yeah, man, I was very clueless, and I didn't know further than that if you let someone stay with you for a period of time in certain states, now that person can claim they're a resident there, and it's like impossible to kick them out. Mainly a girlfriend. She can act like she's the wife if she's been staying there 5, 6, 7 years and claim all the rights as a wife. Is crazy, you know what I mean? But like I said, I remember a situation like we talk about now with Steve Smith Sr. when I was playing with the Eagles. It was happening to a basketball player, and it was brought to my attention, and boom, you know, my spider senses went right up. Like, wow, man, don't, you know, I take heed of things I learn. I don't let one thing go in one ear and out the other. I take heed, man. And you know what's so crazy about this? Because most of the time it's going to be a man that is in this predicament getting sued. And it's so fucked up because the woman doesn't face any repercussions from the pain that she caused on her husband hooking up with another man, particularly in this incident, Steve Smith Sr. You understand what I'm saying? And this is a prime example. This is a prime example of when they tell you life isn't fair. Man, life isn't goddamn fair, man. This is a prime example. Life isn't fair. Let me read, man. It says, former player Steve Smith Sr. is being sued in North Carolina for allegedly having an affair with a married Baltimore Ravens marching band member. The band member husband, Antonio Martinez, is asking for $100,000 in damage, according to a lawsuit that was filed this week at the Mecklenburg County Superior Court. Martinez is exploring a legal loophole of sorts in North Carolina, which is only one of 6 states in the United States with the so-called Homewrecker law, known officially as the alienation of affection law. And then it says, it allows a spouse to sue a third party for destroying a marriage. Back in February, allegations first emerged about the 45-year-old Smith when an account seemingly belonging to Martinez shared a screenshot of an array of text messages appearing to confront Smith. Yes, man. Yes. So that is what's happening. That is what's going on. That is the crux of the lawsuit, right? And there's so many things wrong with this, but to have your name associated with the term homewrecker in the court of law is some nasty work. It says Steve Smith Sr., homewrecker, defendant, plaintiff. Like in the court of law, period, just in the media, any of these things, to have your name associated with the word homewrecker just sounds, it sounds diabolical, man. And out of 50 states, you mean to tell me out of 50 states in the USA, Steve Smith unfortunately got caught up in one of those 6 states with the god doggone homewrecker law. Man, that is some unfortunate shit right there, man. How many states we got out here? 50? 51 with Canada? You know, Trump trying to turn everything into a state. It's only one place in America, and it's going to be America. Everything else won't be a state. Let Trump tell Mr. Trump tell it, you know? Now, like I say, man, life isn't fair, right? Life isn't fair. Because it's always one-sided when it comes to this law. But tell me, can Steve Smith's wife file the same claims on Martinez's wife? Shit, she's dealing with the same harm and damages as her husband of the wife who filed the same claims on Steve Smith. So why can't she file the same damages? It should be an automatic claim when it's like that, you know what I mean? And like I said, man, news first leaked of the affair, right? News first leaked of the affair back in February, when the husband found out through text messages his wife was having an affair, right? He found out his wife was having an affair. That's some hurtful shit, right? That is hurtful to catch the woman you love, you dedicated your life to, I mean, you took an oath and everything that you would love this woman no matter what. And you find out she's sexting someone else, getting her black back blown out. Man, that is some nasty work. Nasty work. And before I play this, right? Before I play the video, I want us to read the messages before we get to the video, right? And let's get to the message. It says, from the top, we assume that's the woman, right? Blowing the kiss. She says, yes, sir. And then he says, take me deep down your throat like you kind of like. Man, you wanted to off me off. And then she replies, I did. I would have gagged on it, but I had to come home. Oh my gosh. I had to come home to my husband. Is that some nasty work? She say I would have gagged on it, but I had to come home. That is some nasty work. And he says, you enjoy it? You like to feel it? I like feeling it deep in my wet P-U-S-S-Y. He says, me too. He continues, letting you taste it though would be a turn on. I'm guessing that's a turn on. And this is a man's wife talking to another man, and he finds out and it gets exposed. That is some nasty work. Now, that's enough for the text messages going back and forth. Now, let's play the clip.
Hey, yo, Steve.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you've been fucking my wife, bro. What you gotta say for yourself?
I'm sorry.
You're sorry?
You know, Steve Smith sound like her right there. He sound like the kid in kindergarten, elementary school. He got caught. He was so surprised, like off guard, got caught, right? And it's like, man, the only thing I say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, bro, I'm sorry. He got caught off guard. That's too funny. All right, back to the clip.
You fucking knew she was married. You're not a fucking idiot, man. You're fucking Steve Smith Sr.
Stuttering and all, man. You hurt.
What kind of dumb shit was that? Why are you quiet, man? Be a fucking man.
Steve, quiet, boy. He like, what's going on, man? He probably just
Steve.
woke up out of sleep.
You ain't a fucking man, bro. All that shit you do on fucking TV, all that shit talking you do to other people. Now someone's got you on the fucking phone, you can't even fucking man up.
Nasty work, bro. Nasty work. Marcus T say, man, Steve Smith, send that 100,000 ASAP. Right, boy, send that 100,000 ASAP. You don't want to walk in no courtroom talking about Steve Smith Homewrecker in front of a jury, your peers of how many, 12 in the jury box and jury pool. And yeah, that's some nasty work, but you could hear the pain in that man's voice, man, in Antonio Martinez's voice, man. It's like, he is calmer than most men. He's trying to be calm, but that is painful to deal with, man. Let me tell you, man, I've been married and dealing with my wife since 2005 and 4. And man, let me tell you, man, I couldn't even fathom the fact that what's going on right here can happen to myself. It can happen to anybody, but I can't even fathom that, man. It's not even something I can even think about, you know what I mean? But yeah, but one thing is for certain. One thing is for certain, you can never take for granted is messing around with another man's wife. Yeah, that's right. You better never take that for granted. Messing around with another man's wife who he loves, who he dedicated to, who he is dedicated to providing for every day, a roof over their head, making sure she's safe, she's he is her security, man, some people will crash out and straight try to take you out, man, about their wife. It's happened year after year after year. That is something you don't play with right there, man. You don't play with a man's wife. And I think Steve Smith is learning this the hard way. He is learning this the hard way, man. Yeah, like you say, Marcus T, man. Shout out to Marcus T, man. He say, cut that $100,000 check, man. That would be peanuts to what you would have to spend on lawyer fees, court costs, and damages if he is found guilty. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Now, what if, now think about this incident, right? Now, what if Antonio Martinez goes to court, finish a 2-day trial or whatever, go through all the court proceedings and ends up being victorious in court over Steve Smith Sr., wins a judgment, collects, and then guess what? He decides to get back with his wife and live happily ever after. How does that work? This could be a setup. This could be a play. I don't like this law right here. And it's like I said, it's one-sided. You know, the rule should be if the person who is considered the homewrecker is getting sued, the participant in the party should be getting sued as well. They should be fighting the same lawsuit. How you just blame one person and they have to go through court and all the negative consequences and things like that, and not make both of these two, make both people go through the same situation? That will only be fair. You know? You can't have an affair with yourself. Sally and 5 sisters, that's about it. You can't have a damn affair by yourself, you understand? How y'all feel about that, chat, man? That is some crazy work. But do y'all feel in America, right? I want to know, man, y'all answer this too in the chat. Do you feel in America should allow polygamous marriages? And if so, why, right? Like I say, I see things different. This world is one land to me. It's all one land broken up into different spaces, states, countries, continents, and so on and so forth. So my thing, in other parts of the world, it is totally normal to have multiple wives. Africa, where else? You know, Iran, where else? It's a few places. And they don't have a problem with it. If it works in other cultures, why can't it work in the U.S.? As long as a man can provide or they provide together, however it works, you understand? But that's just wild. Yeah, man. I want to know, man. Y'all let me know. Y'all feel that's a thing that can be successful in an American way after living one way for so long. You know, living a traditional marriage. You know, that's what we talk around here in America, the United States of America. You understand what I'm saying? How y'all doing, chat? Yeah, y'all make sure y'all like, make sure y'all comment, make sure y'all subscribe. Hit that doggone like button. And we almost at 10K. Make sure y'all get me there. Then 10K, we going to 20, and we're going to have a good time. But what we all been waiting for, man. We all been waiting for. AB, Mr. Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown, right. Antonio Brown clashed with the Mr. Professional Shit Talker today. And of course, your boy, I didn't fail y'all at all, boy. I stood on 10 toes. Yeah, Mr. Troll himself, he wanted to troll, but he had to clash with the big dog. Yeah, he came in and clashed with the big dog, and guess what? I didn't fail y'all. I stood on 10 toes. And one thing about AB, he got real sensitive with me talking shit about him, and all he do all day long is talk shit about people. But he got sensitive when I start calling him out and speaking that truth. Yeah, man, we start speaking the truth on Say What Needs to Be Said on Twitter and all that good stuff. And yeah, he got in his feelings, man. He got in his feelings. Yeah, that's right. And that's crazy. You talk all that shit about people. Every day you go in there and you don't spare nobody Today you talking about Deion Sanders' son, Shiloh, talking about how you cooked him and make him look bad, and Deion trying to use you to help his son out, and you edit the goddamn tape to make him look bad. And you put nothing but bad plays on there for him. How terrible of a guy can you be? That's just goofy behavior, goofy energy. That man is goofy. But hey, let me show y'all what really hit this man where it hurt. This right here. This really hit him where it hurt right here. This tweet right here. Let me blow this up for y'all. Let me blow this up for y'all so y'all can see it. This tweet hurt him, boy. I can't read it from the screen. Y'all know I probably need some glasses. So what I said after going back and forth with AB a little bit, talking some trash, right? I say, bro, and remember, I don't talk just to talk. I speak the truth. I like to speak the truth, right? And I said, if Mike Tomlin never babied you, boy, I ain't say boy, but if Mike Tomlin never babied you, AB84, NFL would have been an afterthought. You couldn't survive anywhere else. The Steelers organizations and players allowed you to act crazy. Facts. Now, I didn't say facts. Lucky you never played on my team. You would have been dealt with immediately and not by the coach. Facts. That's a true statement. And yeah, man, that's a shot at all the Steelers players. Ryan Clark, you know what I mean? Troy Polamalu, Ben Roethlisberger. Who else is on that team? I don't know if the bus was there. How y'all let one man act crazy, all these men on one team, and y'all let this one man act crazy on the team? That is unacceptable. And anything a bunch of men doing together, you know, you got to get rid of a sour apple. That's how that go, you know? And this tweet really got to him because he understands, he know that this is the truth. You leave the Steelers, and yeah, you're still successful, but not even close to the level you was as a Pittsburgh Steeler. Now, don't get it twisted. AB is a hell of a player. Don't get it twisted. Now, I'm just shit talking. I like to talk my shit, right? AB is a hell of a player. We're not going to get that twisted. A hell of a player, hell of a route runner, quick, fast, all those good things. You know what I mean? But he didn't like that tweet. But I don't know why, because it's the truth. At the Patriots, he wouldn't have got away with that shit. You know what I mean? Big dog Willie McGinnis, got Rodney Harrison, Big Seymour, Richard Seymour, Caesar Lee. Then at the Eagles, he wouldn't have got away with that shit. I'm a vet then. I'm running the team by then. You know? If I got a problem with you, I'm going to step right to you. We're going to figure it out. And at the Falcons, same thing. Came over there, changed the whole dynamic of that team, talking about they soft and stuff like that. You know? He wouldn't have got away with that, acting all crazy, man. I'm telling you. He wouldn't have got away with it. You know, acting crazy like it's about him. And the rules don't apply to him. The rules apply to you, fool. The rules apply to you. And they got a place for crazy folks like you want to act crazy. Yeah, they got a place with bars on it. Keep acting like you're a fool. The leaders on my teams, including myself, the leaders on my team before I was one of the leaders, the leaders on my teams was not ever going for none of that. They was never going for none of that. And after my 4th year, I wasn't going for it. I wasn't having it. You know, after I established myself and, you know, became a vet, you know, I wasn't having it. You know, it took me a while to establish myself and become a vet with Bill Belichick, you know, trying to hold me back, and he messing, you know, with my mental things like that, my mental psyche and stuff like that, man. So, yeah, man. Yeah. But, AB, you got lucky, boy. Thank God, man. You need to pray to God every night, man, and tell him thank you for blessing you to drafting you to Mike Tomlinson and Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because anywhere else, you would have came to the Patriots, boy, right off the rip, boy. You wouldn't have survived, boy. Lucky for AB, boy. Yeah, you lucky. Yeah. And what this whole shit talking spat came about is greatness. It's all about greatness with me. And I'm here to protect greatness. I'm always going to be here to protect greatness because there are players 20, 30, 40 years ago that were great and awesome. Y'all don't know about them. They're not popular. They don't have big names and things like that. And no one is going to give them credit. No one's going to stick up for them. You know, I will. Like I say, greatness. We have to stop throwing that word greatness around like it's such a common thing to accomplish. Greatness cannot be accomplished easily, guys and ladies and whoever else. Do you understand the word greatness? Greatness means separating yourself from everyone else. Right? I don't know who's great. I didn't know. I have to listen. I did a lot of studying over the years to learn. When someone says another person was great or is great, the first thing I do is look up the stats and compare that player to other players at that position. And then I see what I come up with. I see what they accomplished. I see the stats and all those things. That's how you determine and establish what great is. Someone tells you someone is great, you don't just be able to have an opinion about someone being great without doing some research. So for years, this is the honest to God truth. For years, I would hear everybody talk about AB, how good he is. I watched him, he was great. Good on the field and things like that. He did his thing. He was awesome, an awesome player. A lot of catches. I think he brought a lot of attention to himself for those outlandish dances and celebrations he used to do, booty shaking and shit like that. So that made him more popular. Y'all know we talk about with me and Prime, the perception and things like that. So yeah, he's good, man. But when we talk about great, you have to understand the difference between greatness. Now, y'all let me know, because this is a big debate and everyone was down my throat. It was some good, some bad. Is AB a top 10 all-time receiver in NFL history? Right? Let me repeat myself. Is Antonio Brown a top 5 all-time receiver in NFL history? And I'm gonna go ahead right off the rip and say, I disagree. No. Go to top 10. Top 5, top 10. No. Right? I was gonna start at top 5. No. Then I was gonna end at top 10. But top 10. No. Right? And we're gonna get into it. Y'all may disagree with me, and but we're gonna debate and talk about it. And my thing is, I think people nominate their favorite players, or maybe the players who they determine are the most athletic when they start these conversations or these debates surrounding greatness. It's not about, they don't look at the history, the stats, and the productivity. I think most people just scream out their favorite players, the ones with the most following, the ones that they see on TV all the time for marketing and things like that, right? The ones that's talked about the most. And it shouldn't be like that. Because people have to understand every athlete, man, including myself, every athlete is out there working hard to be great, the greatest, you know what I mean? Or whatever. Everyone is out here working, trying to be great. So when a player accomplishes more than the other, but may not be so popular, don't just give the credit to the most popular person. That is so freaking unfair. You understand what I'm saying? That is so freaking unfair, y'all. That is so freaking unfair. That is so freaking unfair. And I had no clue about this, right? And if y'all bear with me, if y'all seen this one before, man, I didn't have my mic right the last time I did this. So we coming back at it. We getting back at it strong, bigger and better than ever. I had no clue about this. AB versus Julio Jones. And then I started to do some research. Like I said, when people say someone is great, you have to do your research. And let me say, I was shocked to see how these two players compare to each other and other greats at their wide receiver position. Antonio Brown and Julio Jones, if you can see on the screen right there, right? And don't y'all say y'all knew this either, unless you follow me on Twitter and you've been riding out with me on Twitter and you understand that I'm bringing things to your attention that you might not have realized. And we got Antonio Brown and Julio Jones. Julio Jones is one of those freak of nature athletes, right? He's one of those freak of nature type athletes, very fast, big and strong. He can jump out the gym. He can run a 4.3. He could stop on a dime. He can do all those things, right? All the things that a great athlete can do. And still at 6'3", 200 and plus pounds. You know, I played against Julio. I played against him and also, you know, was on the same team as Julio. So I played against him when he was at the Falcons and I was at the Eagles, and I played and practiced with him when I became a Falcon. You right? And people say stats don't matter. That's the biggest misconception in football, the history of football, because there isn't a way to evaluate how great a player is without looking at stats. That's just the facts. Now, who do you believe had a better career? Antonio Brown or Julio Jones? Right? And a lot of people, you know, who Antonio Brown has 17 million followers, so he has a bigger liking, you understand? And let's check this out. Moving right along. If y'all can see this, let me blow it up for y'all. Y'all can see this, man. This is the NFL all-time receiving list for wide receivers and tight ends in NFL. And you can see Larry Fitzgerald is at number two all-time in receiving yards, and he is guaranteed to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Ain't no doubt about that. Yes, Larry Fitzgerald, man, he put in a lot of work, has a lot of productivity, and man, yeah, nothing too much anyone can say about Larry Fitzgerald. Then you got Julio Jones. Check out Julio Jones. The surprise of the day. Julio Jones is number 16th all-time receiving yards. That is so underrated and so swept up under the rug. Not too many people know that. I am 100% guaranteed sure that people don't realize or understand that Julio Jones is 16th all time, right? I know y'all surprised because I was a little surprised. Unless you follow me on Twitter and you know I'm already talking that shit on Twitter, all right? I thought, me personally, because then I looked at Antonio Brown. This is when I found out he was 26 all time. 26 all time, and then everyone just throwing around how great he is and he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, X, Y, and Z. I was totally shocked. Yes, he's a dog. He's a 5th round pick or 4th round pick like myself. We had to fight our way and claw our way to the top. Yes, but you still have to accomplish greatness to be considered great, right? Like I said, he's 26 all time, right? That's just in receiving yards. We have other stats and stuff like that. But I thought he would have been ranked a little higher than that, man. I can't lie to y'all. I would have thought Antonio Brown would have been ranked a little bit higher than that. Maybe in the top 10 in receiving yards. You know, the way he is talked about and loved and things like that. I get it. You know, he has a big follow. All I see on my timeline is AB is a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's all I see. And no one understands how the Hall of Fame works at all. But we can steady scream someone is a first round Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Famer, and they won't even be top 10 in the stats. How do we determine that? You know? And it's crazy because Hall of Fame should be such a prestige honor that what you have to accomplish to get there is just crazy, right? And we see Terrell Owens, T.O., is number 3 all time. He used to be number 3. They screwed T.O. over, making him a second ballot Hall of Famer. And that's just terrible. You know? It's terrible. Now he's 3rd time, you know, he's 3rd all-time receiving yards behind Larry Fitzgerald, you know. But I will say, you know, Antonio Brown was a great player. You know, he had a bigger impact than Julio on the field as far as inspiration and inspiring things like that, just because of the marketing that he's in. Atlanta is not one of those top markets in football for players to get exposed. So Antonio Brown, that's the one up he had on Julio Jones. You know, if Julio Jones would have been in one of those top markets, you would have heard way more about Julio Jones. You're 100%. Now, let's get into this. Julio Jones, you see this, man, from 2011 to 2023, Julio Jones played 13 seasons and has 7 seasons with over 1,000 yards receiving. That's big time. 7 seasons with over 1,000 yards receiving. 6 consecutive seasons with over 1,300 yards receiving, and 3 seasons with over 1,500 yards receiving. Add 66 touchdowns to top it off. Julio has a total of 13,866 yards from scrimmage, meaning anytime he possessed the ball on offense, running the ball, screens, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? Yeah. Julio Jones, man, also has 992 receiving yards in the postseason, the playoffs. 0 touchdowns, right? That's a big number. 0 touchdowns in the playoffs. Then we get to Antonio Brown, the man himself, the little guy, man, with a big heart, right? Antonio Brown, 12 seasons with 7 seasons over 1,000 yards, 3 seasons with 1,500 yards receiving, and 83 touchdowns. Pretty good. And that's a big one, 83 touchdowns. That's more than Julio Jones. In the postseason, Antonio Brown has 918 yards receiving with 6 touchdowns compared to Julio's 0. 12,419 yards from scrimmage. Both athletes had one season with over 1,800 yards receiving. But when you think about it, AB was one of those self-promoting players that brought a lot of attention to himself, like I said, and he played into a bigger market. Some good, some bad. And AB has that strong following, like I said, with 17 million followers, while Julio has only close to 1 million. And yes, a stronger following is going to always help persuade people and stick out further than someone that's not such a big following, right? And with these two athletes, man, I can't lie to you. It's not easy to decipher who actually had a better career. These numbers are pretty close, man. Damn near like identical, man. Both guys had a really good career. But like I said, to be great, to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, your production has to be above everyone else. If you're a first ballot Hall of Famer, then the people who are more productive in front of you needs to be a first round ballot Hall of Famer before you. That only makes sense, right? And they both had great careers. But like I said, I thought Antonio Brown numbers was just in a category of his own, being like, all the commentators, everywhere, they scream that greatness and first ballot Hall of Famer, And I think this is one of those cases where it's two dogs going at it. There's a little perception versus reality going on. But I think the majority of people believe that AB was actually better than Julio Jones. And in some ways, he might be in the slot, in those intermediate routes and things like that. But Julio Jones is overall a better receiver, productive-wise, athletic-wise, so on and so forth. You can do way more things with Julio Jones, But the only difference is AB has 1 Super Bowl ring and Julio Jones does not. But he don't have it with Pittsburgh Steelers. He had it when he had to go chase Tom Brady, But the rings don't matter when it comes to the Hall of Fame. At the end of the day, who do y'all believe was the better player, chat? Talk to me. Who was the better player? Or who had a better career? However you want to think about it, right? Who was the better player? Who had the better career? However you want to think about it. If you ask me, both of their careers, like I said, was damn near equal. And I would say identical, but not equal, I wouldn't say identical. I would just say equal. Now, keep in mind, Julio's 6'3", 220, AB's 5'9", 185. For whatever that's worth, But me making my selection, man, this is not including any character issues or things like that they may have dealt with off the field. I'm just totally going off based off the career, what I saw, me playing against them, so on and so forth, right? But yeah, man, this is a good conversation. This is a good debate. But let's go through the top 10 because I put up a top 10 and I said in no order. And I'm gonna name off top 10 wide receivers right off the rip without thinking about it. It's in no order. And I want to show y'all, I want to prove that you can't just throw Antonio Brown in the top 10 that easy. And we're going to start off. We got Jerry Rice. Y'all make sure y'all keeping count with me. Y'all let me know who I miss and who I need to add and so on and so forth. I'm going to start off. I'm going to try to start off with the GOATs to the, GOATs to the GOATs. You got Jerry Rice. You got, that's Jerry Rice. You got Randy Moss. You got T.O. You got Larry Fitzgerald. Y'all hate these names, these old names. Tim Brown. Tim Brown was so fast and explosive back in the days. Who else we got? We got Marvin Harrison. We got, who else we got? Calvin, we got Megatron. How can I forget Megatron? You gonna put Michael Irvin in there? Michael Irvin. You could put Andre Johnson. There are so many people that is ahead of Antonio Brown that I can't, S-Class Entertainment say, Jerry, T.O., Moss, Fitzgerald. Yes, exactly. You understand what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, man, homie, AB, if you want to run around and be acting crazy, calling people out, trying to destroy our culture, doing stupid, ignorant stuff, you don't deserve nothing. Unless you absolutely was that good and you deserve it. I'm that person that believes that. I don't care what you did off the field. If you're that good and you deserve it, then you deserve it. But that ain't the case here. You wasn't that good, but you can think you could just act how you want to act. Nah, man. You should be top 5 in all the categories if you want to jump off the field and talk about Tom Brady, then apologize and talk about it again. And I'm just so sick of everybody, man. Everybody giving this fool a pass. You understand what I'm saying? Everyone giving this fool a pass. He out here calling out Deion. Think about this, guys. Think about this. This man edits film of going against a college player who was trying to make it to the NFL to make him look bad and put all bad plays on clips where he has 17 million followers and exposes it. Put all the bad plays. There are plays where the young man did good. You could have put both plays in there and put it out, but you edited it to put it out to blatantly try to expose someone. How awful is that? Any of y'all taking up for AB, man, that is wild, man. What kind of people are we defending AB? All day long, they spewing this terrible energy. And at the end of the day, we getting to the bottom of it. This is the jerk right here. This is one of the jerk that's behind this situation with AB. Yeah, we're going to find out. Look at this low life. Look at him. Look how he look. Jacob Ammerman. Jacob Ammerman. Motherfucking UCF alumni. My school is tolerating this stuff from this peon mother sucker right here. This fool right here. UCF, we got to do better than this. And they say he working with sports and stuff like that. This fool right here. Man, this is horrible. But we're going to find him. We're going to catch up with him. And we're going to have to answer to the crew. But Antonio Brown, man, y'all let me know, is he in the top 10 and where he's at in the top 10, because I can't see him in the top 10. People, we got names of throwback. You could throw in Antoine Bolden in there. I seen one say Steve Largent. Yes, I had Isaac Bruce on my list. Isaac Bruce is what, top 6, top 7 all-time receiving yards. Like, this is wild. We are not getting blinded by the following and things like that anymore. No, we're done with that. We're done with that. When someone says someone is great, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Google. We're going to type in their name. We're going to put career stats, and we're going to see how great they is. And then we're going to, after that, we're going to compare them stats to the other greats to see how great they really are. 12 seasons, baby. But who is the next great receiver coming up y'all think going to be in NFL? I like Malik Neighbors from the Giants, New York Giants, but his quarterback situation is going to really hold him back. I like the receiver out of Jacksonville, came from LSU, can't think of his name real quick. he is going to be he's going to be a special one also, man. He's going to be a special one also, man. But 100 gorillas, man. I forgot to prepare for my 100 gorilla talk, man. But we'll get to that next time, man. How we doing, chat? How we feeling? I don't know about DeAndre Hopkins. There we go, Brian Thomas Jr. I think he's gonna be a good one. Brian Thomas Jr., man. Brian Thomas Jr. Y'all y'all make sure y'all tag AB, let him know that we going in on him over here and say what needs to be said. Anybody watch boxing tonight? Anybody in the boxing fans? I'm trying to pull up Twitter to see what's going on. And yeah, man. How do y'all feel, man, about, I hope this Shedeur Sanders situation is kind of dying down a little bit. Everyone had their 2 cents and did their talks and had their talk about him and things like that. And I think at the end of the day, man, will he start? I think everybody wants him to start. But if y'all was on the last live, you'll understand that it's going to be one thing that's going to stop him from starting immediately. Other than that, I think he can be a start. And this one thing is probably going to give the edge to Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel is going to end up probably getting the first opportunity out of those two, Shedeur and Dylan Gabriel. But Dylan Gabriel may not be able to hold it that long. That way it gives Shedeur Sanders a chance to learn and make his adjustments. That holding the ball, taking sacks, not playing in rhythm and timing, they are not going to go for that in the NFL. You can't go for that at all. I'm just letting y'all know that, man. So, yeah, man. That was Friday Night Vibes, man. I had fun with y'all tonight, man. My energy was way better. I can't give it to Reggie Wayne, too, man. I can't give it to Reggie Wayne. I'm going to give it to one of them, but not both of them. I give it to Marvin Harrison, right? And then we have to look at the targets, the amount of targets that people have also. I think that is a big difference, right? Because if you got 2,000 targets or, you have 3,000 attempts and you only got 500 receptions, all those things are comparable. People say you can't find all the stats. Yes, you can. All the stats are available. That's what you can look at all the stats. You understand what I'm saying? So next time someone says someone is great or you're in a debate about greatness, make sure you say, hold up, let me pull this up and let's look. And then they're going to say stats not everything. And then you're going to say, yes, they are, because we could look at every stat. So why do you keep saying that? When people say stats are not everything, is they just want to have a mouth and an opinion so they can say whatever they want about their favorite player or whoever they spread it propaganda about, saying they was the best and they really not the best. You know what I mean? So, it's cool to have your favorite players and things like that, but greatness has to be protected at all times, man. We have to protect greatness. And yeah, man. Q&A for our dip. Say what needs to be said. Yeah, man, I watched the boxing match tonight, man. Ryan Garcia, man, he was very disappointing, against Rolly Ramirez. Man, Ryan Garcia could be such a better fighter. I don't know if he has the heart or whatever, but I was talking to Shady. Me and Shady, LaShawn McCoy, we into boxing a lot. We really like boxing. We used to be in the gym together messing around. But at the end of the day, Ryan Garcia, man, didn't have enough amateur fights. He needs amateur to understand the things that he's trying to learn right now. Everything is becoming a surprise to him. He has to, he takes a hit, right? He goes down early in the fight. Then he's kind of timid because he's not used to coming back after getting hit so hard and going down and things like that. And Rolly Ramirez, I forget how I'm supposed to say his last name, but he has an awkward fighting style, and no one really respects his style and think he is a really good fighter. He really is. Tank Davis caught Rolly with a lucky counterpunch and knocked him out. Other than that, Tank Davis was going to lose, right? I'm just telling you, I'm a Tank Davis fan. Now, Rolly's in there against a bigger guy. I always tell you, when you have a taller guy, bigger guy that you're fighting, makes it much harder for the smaller guys. A lot more energy you gotta exert trying to get in there and things like that. And yeah, if Rolly doesn't take that knockout against Tank, he'd be a totally different guy and thing. But he can bounce back. I don't know how good he could bounce back, but yeah, Rolly got the fight, man, and he got that victory, man. So on to the next. I don't know who Devin Haney is going to be fighting next, but that's going to be interesting to see. And I would like to see Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney to have that rematch, man. But say what needs to be said. Friday Night Vibes, Antonio Brown. Yeah, I'm the real shit talker. I do this. You want to run up against Mr. Pick Six, you better know what you're dealing with, boy. And yeah, that was a shot to all you Pittsburgh Steelers out there. Y'all let that fool get away with all that mess, and y'all call yourself leaders and all that stuff. Ryan Clark, you was on that team. All y'all busters letting fool just do what he want to do on a team full of grown men. He on the phone during meetings, and nobody checks him for that. And now everybody laughs and look at that like that's a positive thing, man. Y'all some suckers. I'm out of here, man. Peace out. Till next time. Say what needs to be said.